guys, this is Kyle here. I decided to bring you guys along with me for this flying adventure. I realize that I have a job that not a lot of people kind of understand or get, and I try and talk you guys through it, let you know how the flight instructor life is, but I figured why not start a YouTube channel, try and show you guys the kind of sights and views I get to see on an everyday basis, and kind of bring you along for the ride, show you what the pilot life is. Now, I started flying, as you all know, many years ago. It's almost been 10 years since I did my first flight. I can't get enough of aviation. I've been into aviation since I was a little kid. Probably like 5 years old. I even still have my toy plane still. I still have on my shelf sitting around. But yeah, I can't get enough of it. It's a cool job. I love waking up in the morning, going to work, and just get to see sight pictures like this. And every once in a while, I get to take the plane up by myself just to have some fun. Now, it's a little chilly today, so we got the heat on. There's no wind in the area, so it's going to be a really calm flight. We'll show you the views of Greenwood Lake, and we'll have a fun time. Alright, so before takeoff checklist, passenger seat backs and seat belts are on, cabin doors are closed and locked, flight controls, left aileron up, back elevator, right aileron up, down. Good. Flight controls free and correct, flight instruments set and checked. Altimeter set to 790 feet. Good. Attitude indicators up and erect. Airspeed 0. Turn coordinator full of fluid. Heading we'll check with the compass. A little bit off. So vertical speed is 0. Fuel quantity, we got full tanks. Mixtures full rich. Fuel selector valve on both. And throttle up to check the magnetos. 1800 RPM, we got the left mag, got about 50 RPM drop, good, back to both. Now we got right mag, same thing, 50 RPM drop, back to both, back to 18. After that we got the amp meter check, we'll check that. Vacuum gauge is in the green, oil pressure is green, temperature is in the green, fuel flow is building. We got annunciator, no lights are lit, and all lights work. Alright, and then we'll take that throttle back down to 1000 RPM. And I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. Magnetos didn't drop more than 150. Vacuum gauge good. Engine instruments are in the green. Annunciator panel we check. Throttle 1000 RPM. Throttle friction is good. Radio is set, so we got 122.9. That's the frequency for this airport. 1200 altitude. Alright, nav GPS switch off. We got autopilot is off. Departure briefing. We're going to take off today. We're just going to do a lap in a traffic pattern. Keep it real simple. And brakes release. Alright, so this is an uncontrolled airport, so before we go, we're just going to do a radio call, see if anyone's in the area. Greenwood Lake traffic. Is anybody in a pattern for Greenwood Lake? Greenwood Lake traffic, Sky, departing runway 6, remaining closed traffic, Greenwood Lake. Alright, so we got lights, landing light, nav, and strobe on. Transponder altitude, mixture full rich, and trim set for takeoff. Alright, so let's go. Don't see anyone to the right. Alright, so here we go. We got runway numbers verified. We'll add that full throttle. Full throttle, airspeed is alive, engine gauges are in the green. We'll keep a little bit of back pressure on this. Wait till about 55 knots. Here's 55, rotate, pull back just a tiny bit, and then let that nose drop. Let it drop, use that trim to help us out. Nice and smooth today. Alright, so I'm going to take you guys through a normal landing. We're on right down right now. We're going to start our descent down in just a moment. So right now I'm going to pull the throttle back to 1500 RPM, blow 110 knots. We'll do 10 degrees of flaps. Mixture of full rich and fuel selector valve both and seatbelts on before landing checklist is complete. Now we got our nice descent coming down. Using that throttle to control my altitude. So we're a little high here, so I'm going to pull the throttle back a little bit more just to keep that descent coming down. And right now the key is I'm holding about 80, 85 knots coming down. I'm going to wait till we lose 200 feet. As we lose that 200 feet, I'm going to start a right turn to base. Greenwood Lake traffic, Skyhawk turning right base for 6, Greenwood Lake. Alright, so as we turn base, I'm going to keep back pressure. I'm going to slow it down to about 75 knots. And when we're below 85 knots, which we are, I'll put 20 degrees of flaps in. Do it nice and slow. We'll keep that right turn coming up. Alright, I'm always keeping a visual on the runway at all times. I'm keeping it right off my right side, judging whether I feel high, low, looking at my airspeed, seeing if I'm too fast or too slow, and I'm constantly adjusting that throttle. So look on final, final looks clear, and we'll start a right turn to final. Greenwood Lake traffic, Skyhawk turning final for 6, Greenwood Lake. Alright, so now I'm going to pull more throttle back. And right when we get lined up on final and we have the runway made, I'll dump that full flaps in there. We're coming down, airspeed 75 knots. So we got the runway made, so I'm going to put full flaps down. I'll keep that nose pointed right at that runway at all times. You always want the nose pointed down. Airspeed's right around 65 to 70, good. And right now I'm aiming right in front of those numbers right there. Alright, we're coming down. Alright, when I clear these trees right here, I'm going to pull the throttle back to idle. There's idle. And I'm going to start slowly pulling back. Slowly pulling back. You want to hold that nose off as long as possible. Slowly pulling back, holding it off. There we go. And we'll keep that back pressure just like this. And we'll get off at that next taxiway up here. Alright, well I hope you guys enjoy that flight. I hope to make many more videos as time comes, as long as time's available. And I'll bring on more adventures just like this one.